Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. Saturday, standalone game, Tulsa at San Antonio. Let's get into it. All right, so we are going to have our very first standalone game at 6:05 p.m. Central Time, Saturday, March 22nd. The Tulsa Oilers travel south to take on the San Antonio Gunslingers. A lot of roster turnover for both teams just a couple of days before they kick off. We'll talk all about that. Let's start off with projected starters in certain categories. Your season leaders who have no stats just yet. TJ Edwards versus Malik Henry in the passing category. Malik Henry was named QB1 on Branded, San Antonio's podcast, so that's who we have starting for them. Rushing leaders. I put Laquivionte Gonzalez, and we'll talk a little bit about that rushing dilemma for the Oilers in a second when we get to the rosters. Keyshawn Harper, most likely your starter there. Receiving yards, I have Faison McClurge. On the other end for Tulsa, I'm not sure. It could be someone else. No spoilers, there we go. And Nyquan Murray, well, he's on injured reserve, and we'll talk about him here in a second, but yeah, we'll figure out who the receiving leader will be there after the game is over. Speaking of injuries, we'll talk about the Tulsa Oilers first. Patrick Barrett, short-term injured reserve, along with Josh Crockett, and Jimmy Smith is out for the year. So again, just some injuries to that running back position. For the Gunslingers, two big wide receivers are out. Callie Rashad and Nyquan Murray both hit the short-term injured reserve, and Jorge Reyna is on as well for the quarterback position. Craig Holmes and McQuail Harvey are both season-ending injured reserve, and we'll see how that plays out throughout the rest of the season. Betting odds, the over-under is set at 91.5, and San Antonio is a 1.5 underdog. So, Tulsa favored on the road. We'll talk about it. We are at the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas, and as always, the games are on the Indoor Football League Network. Again, gonna shell it out for them because they don't want to do it. Pay the money, watch the games. If you don't, it's cool too. But anyway, go pay the $30 or take the 30-day free trial. We'll see how it plays out. But anyway, that's where we're at. Our head-to-head, San Antonio leads 1-0. Week 10 of last year, San Antonio won 54-43. So, with all that being said, let's go take a look at our rosters. All right, let's talk rosters as they pop up over my face. Let's start with the away side as we always do. The Tulsa Oilers are up first. Quarterback TJ Edwards, former MVP, assigned from Frisco. A lot of Frisco players over to the Oilers this year for going dormant. Duke City quarterback Hassan Rogers, another team that went dormant. So two dormant teams quarterbacks over for Tulsa. Very dual threat, very good. What you'll see here is a lack of a running back. Jimmy Smith is on season injured reserve, and Martez Carter has refused to report. So with that, we will see who the running back is. I have heard it could be Laquivionte Gonzalez. I've also heard that Hassan Rogers could be used as kind of that Wildcat-style quarterback. We'll kind of see who goes, what jet sweeps and stuff that they kind of do. It's not uncommon. Northern Arizona kind of did this a little bit last year, so we'll kind of see. The passing game should look good. Max Novak, Tyrone Howell, Sheldon Augustine, Laquivionte Gonzalez, Cole Blackman, and I've heard Faison McClurge is on a plane and could be in San Antonio tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Nothing popped up on the transactions page, just a little something I heard. So with that, TJ Edwards does get, if Faison McClurge is here, him and Cole Blackman, along with Laquivionte Gonzalez, who spent time in Frisco, Sheldon Augustine, who spent time with Frisco, rookie Max Novak, along with former Oiler Tyrone Howell. So wide receiving core, very, very good. Offensive line, Jeremy West is re-signed. Kerry Reynolds comes over from the Quad City Steamwhalers, and Zach Branner comes over from Frisco, although I do not believe he played in a game last year, but I believe he did get signed and practiced a little bit. Defensively, rookie Rudy Ngouni, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jacarius Smith comes over from Frisco. Asias Carpenter comes over from Frisco. But again, I do not believe he played in a game, just practiced. And Trey Smalls is re-signed for the Oilers. For the linebacker position, this is a logjam. We will see who gets the start at the linebacker spot. Trey Harvey and Marquez Bembry are listed on the team website as just linebackers. while Calvin Bundage is a linebacker defensive back hybrid. Now, whether or not Calvin Bundage plays linebacker and Trey Harvey drops back to the defensive side or the secondary, or if Bembry starts or Bundage, we will see who they line up tomorrow night. And then someone will probably drop into coverage. I've also heard that Marquez Bembry could play on the defensive line, so we'll kind of see what goes on there. In the secondary, you have Taylor Hawkins, Ramon Morris re-signed along with Katron Allen. Kentrell Pierce comes over from Frisco, and Isaiah Smith is signed from Campbellsville University. I believe he is a rookie. Ross Moore is your kicker, and he played for Tulsa a couple of games last year. They kind of had a little bit of a revolving door at kicker at times, just like most indoor football teams do. Over to San Antonio, and we have a stacked roster. Quarterback number 1, Malik Henry. A lot of indoor and arena talent. Last Chance U star, former Florida State commit, played at Nevada after Last Chance U. I mean, you should know the name if you're a big football fan. Guy Myers is his backup, most notably from Carolina at the National Arena League. He is the brother of DJ Myers at the wide receiver position. Keyshawn Harper is re-signed, and CJ Odom comes over from the Arizona Rattlers. Austin Upshaw at the wide receiver position along with DJ Myers are both re-signed. Glenn Gibbons is over from the Rattlers as well, and rookie Bailey Edwards gets into the wide receiving corps. Matthew Burrell rounds out the offensive line with LaColby Tucker, Quan Stallworth, and Joel Galvin. Burrell, I believe, was on Tucson last year, but I believe he was on season injured reserve and didn't play a single game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be thinking of a different Sugar Skull. LaColby Tucker played most of the season last year. Quan Stallworth started a couple of games, and then he got injured and was out for the season, so nice to see him back in the mix. Joel Galvin has some experience with the Sioux Falls Storm, so that offensive line, some pretty good indoor football experience. On the defense, and this is where it's going to get scary, Austin Collier re-signed, but then Warren Thomas over from Duke City, Ellison Jordan over from Northern Arizona, and Ulrich Jones from Jacksonville, Arizona. I mean, the dude's a beast. 6'7", 300 pounds, man. My God. That defensive line is going to be good. Revenge game, Jordan Jones comes over from the Tulsa Oilers, and Hassan Black is signed from the Citadel. I believe this is his rookie season. Clifton Duck is re-signed, and big bad Ravarius Rivers is off the UFL exempt list. He is going to be playing for the Gunslingers, a former defensive player of the year last year. Yeah, that's a nice get to have for your first game. Jalen Phelps comes over from, well, I don't think he comes over, but I believe he did play for Frisco a couple years ago. Kyle Myers from Frisco, Duke City last year. Denai Dixon, he was signed for Green Bay in the offseason. They let him go. He is signed for San Antonio. And Christoph Page, who a couple of seasons ago, I believe, was with the Arizona Rattlers as well. Your kicker is unbranded. They said his name was Foa, which how I'm going to pronounce it, or Ya. He is a former rugby player in Australia, so he will be your kicker. And do not be surprised if he runs the ball or does any sort of 2-point conversions. He is also probably very good at a drop kick, the way that rugby does their extra points and things along those lines with, well, what is a real touchdown. So there's our rosters for Tulsa and San Antonio. Let's go check out our bets and our predictions. All right, so I'm just going to come on right out with it. I have concerns about Tulsa, so we're going to go with the San Antonio money line. They are a home underdog, plus 110 at home. Why not? I do think that this game can be back and forth. I'm concerned about Tulsa. I do have concerns, obviously, about San Antonio too, but the no running back situation does actually scare me a little bit. It can be done. Do not get me wrong. It can be done. But you cannot make Tulsa one-dimensional. They've got to be able to throw it and run it. And right now, if you kind of shut down that running game, you have nothing to open the passing game with. And TJ Edwards cannot do it on his own. There are times where he has had to, and I don't doubt that he can. Or can't, I guess. But just depending on who you have at that running back position, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's Gonzalez, whoever it could be, and whether they run jet sweeps, they put Max Novak back there, Cole Blackman, whoever they have back there at that running back position, or even if they just split you out 4 wide. That secondary for San Antonio, Yeah, especially with getting various Rivers back, I do have a little bit of concern. Now, where I do not have concern is the chemistry. TJ Edwards has quite a bit of chemistry, especially with Cole Blackman and if Faison McClurge does play. Not to mention, I'm sure he was probably built the chemistry in the last couple of weeks with LaQuiviante Gonzalez, Max Novak, Tyrone Howell, what have you. So again, there is concern there. The offensive line does not necessarily concern me as they have quite a bit of experience themselves. The only thing would be, knock on some wood here as I normally hit my desk, injuries. They're only carrying 3 offensive linemen. If any of them get hurt or banged up, yeah, it's gonna be slim pickings. You're gonna have to take a defensive lineman and put him over there. For the offensive side for San Antonio, Malik Henry is going to get the start according to Brandon. I think I've said that before. We'll see. I don't think he's played in the indoor game since he was with Frisco when Frisco was first announced as a team, all the way back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And Guy Myers comes over from Carolina as well. The AF1, AFL kind of stuff, not necessarily known for being a mobile quarterback style game, so I'm not sure how mobile Malik Henry is. He can scramble. We will see. But the new defensive rules, blitzing, stunting, twisting, I'm curious to see. Now, where San Antonio does have it, their offensive line does kind of return, and they do have a little bit of some upfront beef. The wide receivers are still deadly as all hell. Upshaw and Myers can still take over. Glenn Gibbons comes over from Arizona. He was their leading receiver at many points throughout the season last year for the Rattlers. So, with that is a good testament to that offense of San Antonio. Keyshawn Harper and CJ Odom running it. We'll kind of see if they balance it out and run a little bit more than they did last season, as Castronova would take off and Keyshawn Harper would run a little bit, but every once in a while it was more air raid than it was running. Defensively, I touched on it in the roster segment. Who plays linebacker for Tulsa? I said that in their team preview as well. They've got a pretty good defense, and if they can get after Malik Henry and cause some fits early on and break up that chemistry, it could bode well for that defense. It could, especially with the secondary that Tulsa has. Both secondaries are very, very experienced in this game. So, with that, you look over to the defense to San Antonio, and it's, like I said in the roster, it is jam-packed with talent. Every position just has talent. First indoor IFL defensive player of the year, what have you. I mean, just, my God. Ulrich Jones will probably be a disruptive force. He is able to get up and break up passes, get his hands up when the ball is thrown, and just bat it down at the line of scrimmage. Warren Thomas and Ellison Jordan can get after the quarterback. Austin Collier can as well. Jordan Jones, he doesn't necessarily get into the backfield, but who knows with the way the new blitzing rules are. And as always, the ball hawk that is Riverius Rivers will be patrolling that secondary. Is he good for a pick tonight? Or not tonight, but in the game? We'll see. I do like both secondaries here. Both teams will probably have to pass the ball too. And we'll see. I've got San Antonio. I do. I think they're going to win this game. My thing with it as well too is I think it goes under. I do. I think both these defenses are very, very good. I don't have it here, but over under 91.5. You're asking both these teams to score over 45 or a combo of it. I just don't see it. I think they're going to run a little bit more, especially Tulsa, if they can get it going. So, with that, I have San Antonio winning this one, 48-41. I originally had Tulsa winning it, but after seeing some of those injuries and seeing some of the stuff that I've seen from the injury report to how they've kind of stacked that running game to the secondary linebacker position, what have you, a little bit more concern for Tulsa than I originally had. That's why we play the games, and it's not on paper, though. Tulsa wins, great. I've got San Antonio, though. Guns up. And that is it for our standalone preview of Tulsa and San Antonio. This will be the game of the week. No disrespect to Quad City, Green Bay, or Jacksonville, Massachusetts. All eyes are going to be on this game. It's its own standalone product. I know that, you get all eyes on Jacksonville and Massachusetts for like the first hour, and then when that game finishes, you have probably the final hour of Quad City, Green Bay. So if that game is close, maybe more eyeballs get put on that, but this game, all eyes will be on it from start to finish. So I am looking forward to this. I have both these teams in the playoffs. I do. I expect big things from both teams. I expect Tulsa to do some good things this year, and I look for a nice back and forth battle. I do. I don't want to be disappointed when it comes to that, man. But ultimately, whoever comes out victorious does. Kudos either way. But with that being said, I'm going to take off here, guys. Love and appreciate every single one of you, as always. Like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter to me. I will be doing recaps and everything along those lines after the game's complete. Hopefully get some highlights in there, narrate a little bit. Try not to do the every single play, narrate every single play and just try and get some highlights. But with that being said, I will cross that bridge when I get there. Until then, I don't want to take too much of your time. As always, and like I said before, love and appreciate every single one of you. Let's go kick off the game. See ya.